All right, welcome Arbinauts and outer community to another Twitter Spaces. Today we have a board exchange, and yeah, we're happy to introduce them and talk about their 2023 roadmap and what's ahead. So why don't you just start by introducing yourself and explaining a bit about the project to everyone?
Sure, sure. Hi everyone, my name is Jay, and I'm the marketing manager of the board exchange. And so, before joining a board, I actually worked at a hedge fund as a FOF analyst. And at the time, I had a side hustle, which was Bitcoin mining. And so, back in 2019, my high school buddy actually got me into this Bitcoin mining thing, and he was like, I'm in a mining firm right now. It is a very profitable business, and you got to start investing in some of this stuff, right? And so I bought a Bitcoin mining rig, and then, back then I was still in the graduate school, so I didn't have much savings, and it was still a small investment, but it actually turned out to be a very successful one. And so that was like my initial crypto investment, and and uh, and that's when I
What
started.
year was that?
That was like 2019, so like three years or 4 years
Okay,
ago, right? And so that's when
nice.
I actually started to pay attention to the Bitcoin prices and some of the crypto news. But back then I still joined TradFi hedge fund since I just kind of majored in stats and finance, so it's kind of seemed like a natural choice of career. But when I was in the hedge fund, things just got a little too boring for me, and I realized I have been on the same track, for many years, right? And I just kind of want to be reckless for once and just take my career off the track completely. And that's when I actually happened to meet Luca, who's like the founder of a board exchange. And then back then he told me they're building a derivative exchange on a blockchain, right? And so with my experience on the Bitcoin mining, and it's almost like a thirst for excitement, so it just like an almost instant decision for me to join the board, right, and have a full-time crypto job. And so but at the time I didn't know much about Ethereum or anything, and so I spent the initial 2 months just doing extensive learning about DeFi and everything else. And as I went down deeper to the rabbit hole and learned what Ethereum could do, I just realized like this is a legit tech. I can not only leverage the existing system, but more importantly, help a lot of individuals in terms of owning their data and escaping from the existing financial systems. And especially for people in developing areas, where the currency is weak and kind of the system kind of hurts your freedom, right? And so I think it has become the core reason I actually stay in this business, despite all the nonsense happening in 2022. And especially when things, when the initial adrenaline falls back and there are days when nothing seems to be moving this bear market. But I still think crypto itself still has tremendous potential in terms of solving, existing problem and helping people. So that's a little bit about me and the my crypto journey so far, and more about
Yeah,
Luca. Yeah,
that's a great journey so far.
it is.
We a lot of us who work in the space have had similar, if not closely related stories. In regards to the the events of 2022, it just goes to show how necessary a technology like this is for it to really withstand such different traumas in the market. And I think I was saying yesterday that we should start calling it a build market, not a bear market. It has a more accurate connotation to what's going on behind the scenes in this cycle.
Right. No, we actually kind of appreciate the bear market, but especially in the bull market, there are just like way too many shenanigans, almost like hurting the business and making this thing look terrible to outsiders. It's just like when I told my parents, what I'm doing right now, they're just like, we kind of like, what the heck you're doing. But this is like a true technology that can leverage the existing system and really help people in many aspects.
Yeah, of
Not just
course.
financial wise, but in terms of fighting corruptions and many other things. It is just an amazing technology.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, why don't you get into a bit about what a board does?
Sure, sure. So the board basically it's a notebook perpetual DEX on Arbitrum and Avalanche, and so we aim to build an efficient and one-stop exchange with a diverse toolbox. Right, we currently offer 16 pairs of token index perpetuals, and the token include your blue chip tokens like the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, and the Uni, and some of the trading tokens like Aptos and Dogecoin. And for the index perps, we currently have two indices, namely the large cap index, which is made of the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance coin. And then there's the DeFi 20, which basically is made of the top 20 DeFi tokens. So, with the DeFi 20 tokens, you can actually trade the entire sector with one trading pair. And we're also constantly updating and rebalancing the constituents based on a predefined rules, which we refer to the S&P 500 for the constituent rule. And we also support multi-collateral trading, meaning trader can actually trade USDC, USDT, Ethereum, and wrap Bitcoin on Arbitrum. And then for Avalanche, users can trade with all the stable coins, AVAX, and Bitcoin, and wrap Ethereum as collaterals. And so a little more history, about board exchange. So actually, before starting the exchange, half of the team are working in a proprietary trading, algo trading firm, and many of them had years of experience in building commodity and derivative exchanges, right? So the team actually started doing crypto trading in 2019, and when trading on some of the on-chain exchanges, they realized that the existing infrastructure or the trading infrastructure, which is not nearly as developed as the TradFi exchanges, many of the functions are basically missing, and such as the advanced order types and trading tools. And so, with their expertise in exchange building and operations, I think they see the potential of building a DEX with better quality and usability, right? And we also see the potential of a decentralized exchanges capturing more trading volumes from centralized exchanges. And I think the trend is already happening in the spot market, where if you check the volume, the DEX volume actually accounts for over 10% of the total volume on average. And at the high points, I think it actually accounted for over 20%, up to 25%. But the decentralized derivative market is a lot more underdeveloped and only accounts for less than 2% of the total volume. So we kind of decided to build an order book derivative DEX because we see the market potential of derivative DEX. And so it actually took us less than 5 months to build an order book DEX, from ground up. And we actually spent a lot of time basically doing stress testing before the actual deployment on Arbitrum. And but still, I think we're in fact the first order book DEX to deploy on Arbitrum in early 2022.
So why Arbitrum would be the first question there.
Yeah, right. So so the reason was pretty simple. We choose Arbitrum because we believe Ethereum is like the OG, and I still think it is the king, and I think it will be the king in the foreseeable future. But the issue with Ethereum is that the gas fee is like way too high, and you're basically making it impossible for us to deploy on layer one directly, and so we'll have to pick a layer two. And then the Arbitrum is like the best solution as it is firstly an EVM compatible chain, and then the gas fee is cheap enough, and also I think it has one of the best DeFi landscapes among all chains, right? So compared with some of the other L1 communities, I think the Arbitrum community is most familiar with the perpetuals and derivatives in general. So we think the user adoption rate will be better. And so another fun fact is that right, and it is true that when we deploy to Arbitrum, we actually see a lot of users without promoting much about board exchange, and so I think we made the right decision. And so another fun fact is that before deploying to Arbitrum, we realized the Arbitrum portal actually showcases all the protocols in the alphabetical order. So with the name of a board exchange, it will actually be shown like right on the first two rows, and so that's one of the reasons when we were picking all the chains. And it actually helped us a lot by attracting a decent of user volumes to board exchange when we just started off early last year. And I think to this day, it is still one of the top 5 sources in terms of acquiring traffics to a board website. So but that was just like one of many benefits of deploying to Arbitrum. But anyway, I think we made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, well, let me jump in there. The people, when they think of Arbitrum thus far, have thought of a really strong DeFi tool infrastructure and like trading instruments and protocols. That's like the first intro people usually get when they come here, and then they peel back the layer and see that gaming is also evolving really fast here, as well as on-ramp infrastructure, just to name a few things, and a lot more to come. I kind of want to backtrack. You use the term index perpetual. So, a lot of people in the community probably hear that term, and, many probably just nod their heads, not even knowing fully what that means. Do you think you could just, explain a little bit in a beginner sense what you mean by index perpetual?
Sure. Index perpetual is basically a perpetual for index or for a sector, right? For example, if we're having a DeFi index perpetuals, meaning that you're basically betting on the up and down of the or the performance of the DeFi sector, and because it does not have the actual collaterals or the token underneath, it has to be a derivative, and we actually so made up the index based on 20 different tokens based on their trading volumes and market caps. And so we construct this almost like a portfolio into perpetuals, and so that you don't have to buy all separate 20 tokens, but now you can simply trade the DeFi 20 tokens, and then you are having an active and solid exposure to the performance of DeFi sector.
So is it like the index? So you're saying the index is 20 different tokens in one pool. So are you essentially buying a token that represents all 20?
It's not a token, but yes, it's just like S&P 500. So when you're purchasing the S&P 500, you're basically buying performance of the 500 stocks underneath.
Correct. All right, great. And then when you talk about an order book, why don't you just explain, quickly what an order book is for the beginners?
Yeah, sure. An order book is just a tried and true model for TradFi and central exchanges that you list all the buy and sell orders in a book, that you place all the sell orders on the top and the buy orders on the lower end, because people always want to buy low and sell high, right? And so you list all the orders on the book, and then we match them in the middle so that we can find the best fitting price for people who want to buy and sell. That's basically the order book, or the concept of order book.
All right, great. And then a lot of these protocols usually use a virtual automated market maker model. You guys went with the order book model. Can you explain a bit around why that decision was made?
Yeah, sure. So TLDR of the story, I think at this stage, I just think none of the model is perfect, and each sort of has its competitive advantage in some aspect. But we always believe that an on-chain order book or some sort of hybrid order book will be the ultimate solution, because of the user experience, the diverse trading tools it offers. It actually supports price discovery, like I said, and it supports high frequency trading. And so and right now there are four solutions to on-chain derivative trading, right? Especially for perps, namely the virtual AMM with real liquidity, and Oracle or some sort of price fee model, just like GMX, and then there's the order book model. And then so the initial model of virtual AMM with no real liquidity, I think, had proven to be almost invisible because of a critical issue called terminal price reversion, which basically means that when having a static K factor for the XYK, the AMM equation, and no real liquidity is backing it, the positions cannot be all closed out, or the price will revert back to T0 when the flow actually started. And so this is fine when we're in the range bound market, because nobody's gonna close all the positions, right? But it's not gonna work in a bull market and when the token price surges, and then because the arbitrageurs who keep the price packed can now sell at the desired price then. And so so we pretty much rule out the virtual AMM one, but the other three models, each have their own advantages. So for the VMM model deployed on Uniswap, which have like real liquidity backing it, it is highly decentralized. And for the Oracle model, it is great for retail LPs, and it offers zero slippage trading, right? So it will be very easy for you to become LPs on GMX or some of the other Oracle model based exchanges. But still, for an order book model, I think it really prevails in many aspects. The user experience, the trading cost, the capital efficiencies, and better liquidities. And so, like I said, the order book is really a tried and true model in the financial markets for many years, and it will be easier to onboard traders on professional teams who have been trading on CEX or TradFi exchanges. So they can basically or simply move their existing strategies to a board. And in fact, we're working with a third-party provider to allow them or any users to connect and trade with their Google account, Facebook account, and email addresses. And also, I think order book is capable of holding a lot more trading tools and advanced order types, for more hardcore traders. So a lot of the advanced strategies involve very complicated factors and execution procedures, right? They set up all these predefined rules to make sure they actually execute when the price touches or meets the requirement, right? And to me, to run that strategy, certain tools and order types are really necessary to run such strategies, right? And one limitation of the AMM DEX or some sort of AMM DEX is that it kind of naturally limits the available order types. If you check some of the AMM DEX or aggregator, having a limit order is already sort of like an advancement. But if you ever check the traditional order book DEX or any traditional order book exchange or any other or centralized exchanges, there are just like hundreds of trading tools and order types to meet everybody's need. And I think as the market matures, and advanced traders will need all the tools or some of the tools to actually create their strategies, right? And another thing is that the trading cost of the order book is typically a lot lower as well. And so, for example, on the board, the highest taker fee is like 0.003%, and the maker fee is like 0.012%. So that's like 1.2 bips per trade. And for people who are not familiar with an order book, a take order is basically taking liquidity, and a maker is providing liquidity to the exchange. And with professional market making teams, the order book can provide much better liquidity for mainstream assets. I would say like the top 100 or top 50 asset. The order book always prevails. And for the MM is always great for long tail spot trading. It's so, but when it comes to mainstream asset, I think the order book is always the better option. And AMM I think is only good for spot trading, not for derivative trading, because derivative trading revolves a lot more complicated strategies and much higher frequency of trading. And as the market matures, we really think that more professional team and institutions will be trading on chain. So and so this is just like a general trend for all financial market. For the U.S. stock market, the percentage of quant trading is over 70%, and for developing market like China, the percentage of quant trading is over 40 to 50% ish, and the number is still increasing at a very fast pace. And so I think the same thing goes for crypto market, which is highly financialized, and in which the professional team will eventually contribute the majority of the volume. And we believe the edges of an order book will make it the best solution for institutions and hardcore traders, because it supports an API, and you can deploy your existing strategies to an order book DEX, no problem. And we still think that some sort of on-chain order book is really the end game for perps. And but so as we all know, but at this stage, an order book exchange can only exist in the form of a central limit order book, meaning that part of the trading is the trading core is off chain, right? But I think the core concept is that every project has a very different approach or roadmap to decentralization, right? For an AMM or an Oracle exchange, they're already fairly decentralized and more composable, right? Just like GMX or Trade, they're sort of a community of DeFi on Arbitrum. But for us, we're more like a single isolated building on on the county or in the county of Arbitrum, right? And so for us, we're on a very different route to decentralization. As a non-chain order book, highly depends on the performance of the chain underneath. And so, we still have strong faith in Ethereum, but the upgrade, especially the sharding stuff, I think it will take some time. And so that's another reason we kind of appreciate the bear market, since there's still a very, very long way to go. And sort of a slower market actually gives us more time to develop and build an ecosystem of ourselves, right? So instead of having different protocols composing or working with each other, a board exchange will have to build many of the additional functions or products just by ourselves, because of the trading core is off chain, right? So we cannot, or it's very hard for us to work with different protocols. But in fact, we can build everything by ourselves. But it just takes time, right? So and really, honestly, I think it is impossible to build a great on-chain order book if you don't have the experience, in operating or building a cloud DEX. I always think it's just kind of like playing a video game, where you just got to start from the entry level, to more advanced levels. But I think we're really working on it, and we have research team, checking all the updates and chain status every day.
So when you talk about the road to decentralizing, the order book for your index perps, is that something that you're looking to achieve within 2023?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think it's going to take longer than that. But one thing we're always working on is that we are always making sure we are getting a step closer to full decentralization. For example, yesterday we actually had an update to allow user. So we kind of changed the account from EOA to a non-EOA account. So users actually have controls of withdrawing the funds and paying the gas fees on their own. So we're always working on more decentralized exchange, but I think it'll take longer than a year just because things are not moving as fast as we thought it should be, or as we thought.
All right, so what does like the next couple quarters look like for your guys' roadmap? What are you guys working on?
Yeah, sure. For the next couple of quarters, we actually have a lot of things planned or in the pipeline, and so I think I should probably first review 2022 and see what we did right and wrong, so that we can better explain the roadmap for the next few quarters. And so and then the good things first, and think in retrospect, we hosted a number of very successful campaigns with Galaxy and with other partners, and greatly expanded our communities, right, and user base. And so in 2022, which was like the first year of the project, we had over 30,000 users in total and over 1 billion in volumes. So the other thing we kept, the other thing is that we kept the exchange running stably and smoothly with over 99% uptime. We're also very proud to say that we took great care of our community with 24/7 Discord support, right? And we have also secured investment from multiple VCs, which we'll disclose more later. But the end of performance part is have us put us to have a different roadmap for 2023. So one thing we did not do too well in terms of is that we did not do too well in terms of publicly expressing ourselves, and the product needs to better fit the taste of the DeFi people. So what I mean is that people trading on chain seems to favor simplified trading derivative products, such as a packaged derivative product as a vault over doing hardcore tradings. And so in 2023, I think first for the marketing part, we'll start to participate in more AMAs and talks. And obviously continue to host market campaigns with our partners and offer all kinds of rewards to our supporters. But then for the product part, there are a couple of things we're working on. So first, we're building an advisory protocol, which basically is a trading strategy marketplace. So the ultimate goal for this protocol or for this product is that we can provide a platform for qualified trading teams or individual traders to come and set up trading strategies. And so we got the idea from the TradFi exchange called the Interactive Broker. And so, for example, if your strategy is doing very well, on Binance or any other exchanges, you can move it to a board because we're all the order book decks. We're all using the order book model, and everything is the same. You can basically move it right over. And once you're ranked among the top traders, you can set it up in the advisor protocol to allow people to invest in it and manage funds for investors, right? So one issue was last year was like the people kind of come and go. So, despite many have traded on board exchange and the volume being decent, but the TVL performance was pretty sluggish. And now, so the benefit of the user right now is that, or with the advisor portal, is that instead of directly trading on board exchange, you can now participate in the profitable trading strategies, such as market making on board exchange, or some sort of CTA strategies, right? So it's kind of like an order book version of posting TVL and encouraging people to become LPs. And so, and this is real solid yields coming from trading, not just by like printing token money or doing some Ponzi stuff, right? And we also know that setting up a market making strategy or profitable trading strategy is very complicated and very hard. So now you can simply, or with the advisory protocol, you can simply investing in market making funds or institutional funds. And in this way, the exchange itself does not have a directional risk. So let's say if you're in a single-sided bull market, we don't have the risk of losing any funds because it's all strategy based, right? And then the communities can actually expose to derivatives or leverage trading in a very simple and lower risk way. And so you don't have to trade by yourself, but you can simply purchase DeFi strategies with good track records or from renowned team, right? And then
so is it kind of like a leaderboard, and people can just see the best performing traders and then just kind of automatically copy them through a smart contract?
No, it's not. So it's not leaderboard is part of the protocol or part of the product, but it's not copy trading where you just sort of follow their strategies, because like a real So coming from a TradFi background, we realized that a real good hardcore strategy will never be copy traded because like it's their secrecy, right? Like they will never allow you to know the hardcore trading strategies. So for our protocol, it's going to be more like, or for our product, it's going to be more like a fund or a strategy marketplace where you can purchase strategy and have other people manage your funds.
Okay, so you're kind of creating some jobs there within the protocol.
Yeah, no, but initially it's not going to be like for everyone because like we don't want to have shenanigans or random people, creating fake stuff or terrible strategies hurting people, right? So initially it's going to be like whitelisted professional teams or professional marketing making teams, professional trading teams providing strategies on the exchange.
Okay, like on a vetted basis.
Yeah, yeah. But in the future, it's going to be more based on the leaderboard and everything else, or trading competitions. Let's say if you're doing really well, on the leaderboard for 3 or 4 months, then you can possibly be whitelisted and then host your own strategies. But it's never going to be like for everyone. No, it's not going to be like that because there will be
like
people hurting others.
Yeah, like the vetted solution right now is kind of like centralized training wheels. As you're able to decentralize the protocol more, you can slowly remove them. A lot of
Exactly
us are familiar with that concept from a security standpoint, primarily.
Yes, exactly.
That's the reason. And then one thing I'm curious about: will there be eventually down the road a way to have people kind of create their own indexes for the protocol as it decentralizes and let people um, use those indexes, or is it kind of what is onboarded by the team?
Yes, it's so basically you can create an index anytime just by setting up just by purchasing a basket of tokens, right? Let's say if you want to set up a like Ethereum index, you can basically purchase all the token, the Ethereum blue chip tokens, like anything you want, right? And then down the road, you can not only set up your own index perps, or you can sell your index perps, but also you can set up your own FOF strategy. So it's like a fund of fund strategy. So you can basically, so it's kind of like a sub account functions where you can basically purchase other people's strategies and make it another fund. So you can host layers of sub account to make sure that you're truly diversifying your portfolio and reducing the risk.
Yeah, that's good. The whole trading strategy is kind of contingent on reducing risk to the point that
it is.
You're always trying to
it's basically to protect people from getting liquidated in like split seconds. So one question,
it happens a lot. It happens all the time.
One question we get asked a lot was like, why did I get liquidated in like 2 minutes? So I was like, when we checked their trading record, it's like they're trading with 100% of collaterals and and all the way up to 25x leverage, right? So that means that with absolute minimum price movement, they're getting liquidated. So another thing we're working very diligently on is like to educate our communities or users to make sure you guys just don't trade with 100% of collaterals and full leverages and don't set up and like set up your stop loss and take profit orders to make sure you're covered when you're asleep or something, right? Because many we were like,
that was actually
that
was going to be my next question. Actually, is I noticed in a lot of trading communities and protocols they don't put a lot of emphasis on educating their user base, which I think should be kind of part of the pillars of running a trading company and protocol, because if your if your community of traders is succeeding, then they're going to stick around and keep providing fees and keeping that cycle going and the ecosystem revenue pumping. So I think education is a really good slot there.
It is. So exactly. So the thing with running a DEX community, or especially for a derivative community like us, is that one of the hard thing is that traders lose money, right? So it's not like a GameFi community where everybody's happy, right? So one thing we're working on to make sure try our best to make sure everybody's happy is that we every day we try to tell our communities just don't gamble, don't bet with your money with 100% of leverages, and make sure you're educating yourself regarding limiting the maximum downside risk, right? And also And also another thing is that we try to answer all the questions as soon as possible, 24/7. We have people on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and in South Asia as well, so that whenever there's a question popping up, we can try to answer it as soon as possible because since we're a cloud DEX, many have the doubts or questions that are you manipulating the price or are you messing with the price to liquidating us? And the fact is that we're not doing any of that, and in fact, it actually follows a very rigorous liquidation rules, right? So, so the only way of protecting our communities is sort of like telling everybody, trade responsibly and don't mess with your fund, with 100% of the collaterals.
Yeah, of course. It's I personally don't do perpetual trading myself, so I know it's not an easy way to trade. It's if you don't know what you're doing, and sometimes even if you do know what you're doing, it's hit or miss. So you got to have a lot of safeguards in place. So that's great.
Yeah, no,
Um,
right. Actually, so for perpetual trading, one of the common misconception was like it's only for betting the directions, right? We're only betting the ape token with 100x leverages or something like that. But it's actually a very useful tools in terms of hedging your directions or hedging your tokens on the board exchange or any other exchange. Because let's say if you're staking ape token, and then while staking, you still have the directional risk of ape token going up or down, right? But if you actually open a short position with the same size on the board exchange, with controllable leverages, you actually lock in your price change, and now you can enjoy the pure yield from ape token, and you don't have to worry about ape token dropping to zero on one day.
so can you just explain hedging simply for the community as well?
Yeah, sure. So hedging basically means that opening a reverse position so that when the other position goes up, the reverse position goes down, right? And when the token you're holding, the price of the token you're holding drops, your short position actually profit, right? So in that way, you sort of counter out the profit and lock in the price, and you don't have to worry about the price going up or down.
So then, how does the first thought I'm sure many people have is, doesn't that just end you with a break even? How does the hedging leave you on top, I guess?
Yeah, I think it really depends. For example, just taking the staking example, you're getting the juicy staking yields, right? Or if you're creating some sort of advanced strategies, in fact, you can actually abstract the alpha strategy or the alpha yield out of your strategy. So, for example, one of the more advanced strategies like hedging the DeFi 20 indices, right? Let's say you purchase a basket of token, or you select a basket of token by yourself, and it's all DeFi tokens. And then the other way of doing it is like you hatch the DeFi token or the DeFi index at the same time, so that you're effectively eliminating all the beta or the beta price changes. So like the beta is kind of like the market price change. So effectively you're eliminating all the beta price changes, only abstracting the alpha price. And so the core concept of the alpha price was kind of like you can outrun the market when the market goes up, and lose less when the market drops. And so that's kind of the concept of hedging in a delta neutral strategies.
Okay, cool. That's pretty straightforward. Where would you recommend people go to learn, more tutorials around like hedging and using collateral safely and doing derivatives? Are there resources that you guys trust
Yes,
for
we
sending
actually
your
wrote a
community?
we actually wrote an article like last year, having a detailed example of how you could hedge your Luna token, how you can hedge your Luna token when staking.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And so we actually, when we wrote out the article, it crashes the very next day, or I think the in a week or so. But yes, that was a great example of showing you by hedging your position, you're effectively limiting the downside risk. So we do have a great article on our Medium, and everybody can go check it out.
All right, great. Are you ready to take some community questions?
Sure. We can take some community questions.
Sure. I see we have one person, Rahmat. Gonna add them on stage here. Yeah, I think one of the most important things when discussing about any trading protocols is to always keep it in the forefront of people's minds, the risks involved and how they need to make sure they understand exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it, and then just keep the space a lot healthier.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Rahmat, do you have a question for a board? And if anyone else has any questions, just raise your hand and we'll bring you up. Your mic is muted, by the way. Maybe they threw their hand up earlier and forgot.
Yeah.
All right, well, there's no other questions right now. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I guess I'll talk more about the board advantages, or like why should you trade on a board exchange. Right. So
Actually, as I said that, somebody raised their hand.
go ahead.
That's how it always works. All right, alt trader.
Hello. How are you, everyone?
We're great. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. My question is to about exchange. So this is a 100% decentralized exchange. Our assets are safe on about exchange because we have already huge laws from FTX and some other exchanges like Coin Super also scammed people's money. So we need some security and uh, assets will be safe when we trade. So a board will be provide this all.
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. So we have a couple of security measures. So first thing, we're all audited, and you can check our audit report on GitHub. Or and then the second thing is that we're actually thinking about purchasing a insurance fund for all our funds deposited on board exchange. And then thirdly, obviously, you can check your funds on chain because everything is deposited on the smart contract on Arbitrum, so that you know that we're not moving the fund or doing any nonsense with your fund, and everything is on chain. You can check the smart contract at any time, and you'll see there are no outflows of funds except people which extracting money from board exchange.
Okay. Can you guys please provide us fiat money deposit system on a board exchange, and we need mobile application to use trading because we can't trade in a mobile, very difficult to use. So why not you guys will be launch immediately for because too many people are using mobile phones like iPhone or Android. So I have already tested, very difficult to use. That was looking very hard to operate in mobile. So can you please?
Sure. That's a good suggestion. So for the fiat on ramp, we are actually we already have a fiat on ramp, which is Banksa, and we worked with Banksa to offer fiat on ramp on the web version. But regarding the mobile version, actually you can trade on board exchange via all of your wallet browser, so like your MetaMask browser or any of the other wallets browser. And I think we'll start to develop a mobile version of board exchange this year, but I think it might come out late this year or early next year because we're limited in human resources, and there are also many other great products we're working on and deploying. So we're aware of the issue, and we're aware of the needs of the trading mobilely. But yes, we will deploy one of them.
Yeah, I have tested on Token Pocket wallet or some other wallets, but that was not working smoothly. Yeah, we can put our order, take a trade or stop loss, everything, but use case is not perfect. And can you guys fiat system add on aboard exchange? We can easily cash out our money when we are in a profit. Otherwise, we will be deposit some centralized exchanges. Then we can convert into fiat. Why not this service on aboard exchange? We can directly convert into fiat.
Yeah, so for the first question, I do admit that the mobile version right now is not perfect, and I'm just kind of like constantly fighting the dev team to make it better, and I'm sure it will be better very soon. And then for the second part is that we do actually have fiat off ramp right now. So if you click on the buy crypto, and there will be like a Banksa X aboard web page, right? And then there's an option of off ramping your token directly to one of your bank account. And but I think this process is KYC by Banksa, so that you have to get KYC for Banksa to actually directly off ramp your profit from aboard to your bank account.
Yeah, yeah. The KYC is must in centralized way. And my final question is, can we see about the token like Uniswap or some other governance tokens of DEX?
Uh, yeah. So I cannot give you a definitive answer right now, but we're I'll put it this way. We're certainly looking into it. But and one benefit of not having a token right now, especially in the spare market, is that we get to filter out all the noise and sort of see where the true market demands are, right? So I think the team kind of agrees on that. If there's no point in having a token if the product quality is not there. And so as I mentioned earlier, there are still quite a few products we want to provide to our community and see the real feedback. And so one example is the index perps, right? And honestly, it was not a hot hit when we launched it. But what if we issue a token based on the index perp trading volumes, and the volume would rocket, right? But that's just like illusional prosperity, and it will sort of lead us in a false direction. And so decentralized derivatives, yeah, in general, I think are still in a very nascent stage, right? And we still have time to fine tune the product and innovate, and try to find the actual demands, and what does the community really want before doing a token launch or any of that.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Thanks for the replay, and good luck for your project.
No problem.
All right, those are some good questions. Let me bring up Tom now. All right, you're all set, Tom. We're not getting any sound from your mic, Tom. All right, no worries there. You might just be having some technical difficulties. You can always feel free to post it in the spaces comments or tweet it at a board. I'm sure they'll answer you via text as well. All right, so there's no more questions. This has been great. Thanks for joining aboard.
No problem. And I actually got one last thing to say. So
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so guys and ladies, give aboard a try. Really let us know your thought, or if ever encounter confusions or upsets, and you think the product can improve in certain aspects. Feel free to DM us, on Twitter, or share it in the community. We're Discord. We're happy to hear from every one of you, and it will be really helpful for us to improve the exchange.
Yeah, and please post any resource links that are relevant to the community in the comments on the Spaces thread.
Sure, I'll drop the
how they can
links.
How they can find your app, how they can find your community, how they can find your medium.
Sure, I'll drop it after this call.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone, for attending, and thanks for your patience.
Thanks. Great talk.
And yeah, enjoy your weekend, everyone.
You too. Bye, guys.